DJ, producer, label owner, promoter, and more recently, radio presenter. Kid Funk has become a vital part of the South African electronic music and club culture. Over the last 20 years, Kid Funk has dominated in the music industry, from influencing the game to fusing his sounds and creating a platform for artists. Watch as his story unfolds and see why he is a game changer.
I'm Kid Funk, aka Alan Nickel, aka Kid Funk. I'm a music head first, have always been. Music's been my number one since birth, you could say. DJ, I'm a producer. I host a radio show called Selective Styles on 5FM. I have a record label called Stay True Sounds. I'm a father and a husband.
He is an amazing husband.
He's a very driven, very kind of perfectionist, very passionate guy.
You can always talk to him about everything, like music, life, fashion, streetwear.
He's very generous with his time, very generous with his knowledge, very generous with his experience.
Alan is a dad joke extraordinaire. That's the perfect explanation for him.
Before he was Kid Funk, his DJ name was DJ Puddle.
In a house with my mother and my father and a sister. Most of my childhood memories were in the West Rand in Roodepoort. I was born in Scotland. My parents moved to South Africa when I was 4, and we moved straight to kind of town, just on the outskirts of Hillbrow. My parents used to both work at Wits University. So I was there for a couple of years, and then we moved out to the West Rand. Roodepoort, that's where I grew up. Music was still my thing. I found a CD store in Westgate called Musique. I met a lot of people there, and I would go there and spend all the money I had, every single cent, every single week, and just collect music. And I was really rubbish at school. I landed up failing school, and they recommended I went to college. So I landed up at Roodepoort College, which was like literally right next to Westgate Shopping Centre, which had this CD store in it. At Roodepoort College, they had DJs every single day, Monday to Friday, and I ended up becoming one of the DJs. So each DJ had a particular style that they would represent. So I became friends with all these DJs, and there was guys playing techno and house and whatever, and I played trip-hop and hip-hop. That was my thing. And inside the DJ box, there was no like cues or like pitches or anything. It was just 2 CD players and a crossfader. And that was the beginning of my journey with DJing. I discovered, I knew a lot of music, I knew what I was into, and I had a platform at college every single, I think, Wednesday. And I'd go in there and play music really loudly while everyone had lunch, and was very confused by my selection. It was quite ahead of its time, especially for Roodepoort. But that's where it started. That's pretty much where the DJing career started. Inevitably, I was going to do something with music, but that's kind of what started my interest in DJing and has led me to where I am now. What's up? I'm back in South Africa, and it's all about Mzansi House Volume 7. We're launching the album tonight at my home, Kitcheners. Everyone's in the house, plus Vinny Da Vinci, Jazzy Well, Cat La Cat. Such a good album. I'm gonna go play my set. Let's do this? Yes, sir. Sure.
Inspired by his upbringing, Kid Funk found his passion for music at an early age. He learned the game and changed it. From playing tapes at school, introducing a niche sound, Kid Funk molded his skills and took his passion, vision, and dreams and made it a reality.
And my father was a very, very big muser. He used to make mixtapes. He used to sit, have his very beautiful hi-fi setup. He used to go and buy all the separate pieces. He'd buy the amp from one place and then like do research and get a CD player from this place. It was always like the finest stuff. And he used to make mixtapes for the car, for my mom and for him, and obviously for us. I kind of used to watch him curate. I don't even think the word curate was invented when he was curating mixtapes at home on a Sunday. So we'd all be chilling and my dad would be there and he'd be like, what song would work after this? And he was into everything. It was such an important thing for me to see this man doing it. He wasn't like connecting songs. He wasn't mixing songs. He was just this song before that song, after this song, before that song, and making a feel. And I think that's so important, especially with, like, that's what I do every single day of my life. I curate my radio show every week to make sure that it is as amazing as possible on a Sunday. The house was just filled with music. My father used to take me to CD Warehouse back in the day in Rosebank when it was in the Muse. That was kind of my childhood, was just lots of time with music, lots of time at home, in the car, everywhere. It was just music. At college, it was just exploring, trying to find new music. And that's where I discovered the music that kind of has created me today. Real time the penny dropped for me was when I heard Cold Cut DJ. They managed to put hip-hop, soul, trip-hop, techno, house, jungle, reggae. Into one set and make it make sense. And then I was like, finally, it's almost like people have told me that I can do this and this can be done. And that was a very big moment for me. And then I discovered Giles Peterson. There was an album he did called Worldwide, double disc, and he just played amazing music. It wasn't about mixing. It was about play an amazing tune and play another amazing tune, and they're just amazing tunes, but he was still a DJ. So I kind of had like these two really big inspirations in my life when it came to people I look up to and people that kind of I started mimicking or following, and it was definitely Cold Cut, Giles Peterson. Put them in a bag, and that was where I was when I was maybe 18. What they were doing inspired me, and it was out of the norm, and it was not ordinary DJing. It wasn't what the guys were into back in the day. It was like music first, DJing second.
For me personally, I think he's one of South Africa's best DJs, not just because he's my friend, but there's not a lot of DJs in South Africa that can do what he can do, which is basically go through genres so seamless, like, you know, like, and I think that's a gift in itself. Not every DJ can do that. It's not about just playing house. It's not about just playing hip-hop for him. I think that's what I kind of respect about him, is that it's about music. And I think that's what sets him apart from a lot of DJs, is just that he's about music and about good music.
He's very eccentric as a DJ, you know, like he's not like all over the place and stuff, but when he's playing, man, like there's just so much comfort in listening to him play, because it's like he knows exactly what he's doing every step of the way, you know, every second, everything he's doing, he knows it.
I represent music. I represent music that tends to fall in the independent category. I represent music that I feel, which kind of does heavily have soulful elements to it, jazz elements to it, emotion. To pigeonhole it is literally like what I'm not about. I don't like I like being as broad as possible.
Saturday afternoon, Kid Funk, back in Braamfontein. I literally went home at 4 this morning, had to sleep. My kid woke me up early, been chilling, and I'm back in Braam for Neighbour Goods Market. I've never actually played here. It was really nice, chilled vibes. I just played a deep set. Now it's time to go home and rest. That's me, Kid Funk.
As a game changer, Kid Funk has challenged himself to do more than just being on the decks. His passion for music filled his fuel to produce his own records, to define his sound, not just in the South African music industry, but globally.
I got asked by a lady at Mixmag. She was coming over here for the World Cup football, and she wanted to do kind of a story on the nightlife of South Africa over the World Cup. And she got in touch with me because I was working with Soul Candy, we were chatting, and then she was like, yo, I got a friend who's coming with me. He's actually my boyfriend. He's coming with me to South Africa. Maybe you can host him at one of your nights. His name is Johnny Miller. And I was like, Johnny Miller, Johnny. So I went home, I started looking through some records. I was like, I know this guy.
I met Kid Funk in Johannesburg when a previous partner of mine was a journalist and writing a piece about South African dance music. And she interviewed him, and we realised we had all the same records and all the same books and artwork and trainers, and we had a lot in common, and we just became friends.
We connected like straight away, like instantly. When it comes to trainers, when it comes to art, when it comes to music, he'd come into my house, he'd look through my record collection, I'd have 80% of the records he'd have. When it came to trainers, he'd be like, yo, I'm an Air Max One head. I'm like, yo, check out my collection. He's like, oh my God. When it came to brands of clothes, everything he was into, I was into. We were like brothers, instantly. So we had this mad connection, and he sat me down and he was like, bro, you want to take your music to the next level? You need to produce. And I was like, I don't know how to. He's like, I can help you. So the first beat I'd ever done, I was working at Soul Candy, and there was a lot of collaborations happening at the time. And I was freaking out of a producer called DJ Whiskey. He did a track called Warriors of Africa, I think. Yo, it was like on that Kulo the song tip, like when Kulo first came out. It was deep, very paddy, I was like, yo, DJ Whiskey's my guy. Whiskey and I got chatting, I ended up releasing some music with him, and I was like, yo, why don't we do a track? He's like, cool. So we started working, and I kept giving Whiskey these reference points of like broken beats, because I'm very heavy into that scene. And he came up with the beats for what was B, and I was like, we need to get a vocalist on this. And Zaki Ibrahim was very in my world.
Searching for the warrior in me, and you found me. They're all alone. The breath in you is the breath in me. See.
And we managed to make it happen, and we created a song called B, which I think was my first kind of commercial song. It was like, so the song came out as Kid Funk, Zaki Ibrahim, DJ Whiskey, and Kid Funk. And we put this thing together. It got signed. I managed to pass it over to Martin at Jazz, and he signed it. Johnny was trying to help me with my first production solo as Alan, rather Kid Funk. I'd found this piano loop from Kid Funk 2 Sides.
The selection process starts here. Everybody forgot about the records themselves and was worried about the mixing.
That was my first underground track. Johnny kept saying to me, there's no way you can release this with Theo Parrish on it. You need clearance, and you're not going to get it. I mean, who are you? I'm Kid Funk. the bottom of Africa, no one knows who you are. I was like, bro, I'm not releasing this track unless it has the Theo Parrish vocal in it. So I hit up Slices, the guys that released the DVD, and they responded in a very German, rude way, and put Theo Parrish in the CC, and they were like, a lot of people have asked us for this vocal. We're not so keen, but here's Theo Parrish, what do you think? Theo was like, dude, send me the track. Within a week, he was like, Sharp, you can do this. Make sure I get a percentage of publishing and it comes out on vinyl, because that's Theo's format. Theo DJs on vinyl only. So I was like, cool. So I hit up Martin at Jazz. I was like, bro, this track, I know you like it, we're gonna release it, but it has to be vinyl. At Jazz is like, cool. That was my first underground Kid Funk only.
Many different things that are natural to you, that are organic to you, that draw you in specifically. And then later, you refine that process through listening. And then you present it to other people. That's DJing, that's selection to me.
Without Johnny, I wouldn't be producing. He's become Kid Funk's engineer. He's become Kid Funk's kind of, not brainchild, but like the man behind how I push my music out. He's helped me take all of that and be able to put it into a song and like release it. Without Johnny, I wouldn't have been producing, and I wouldn't have met D Malice.
I met Kid Funk in Amsterdam, ADE, around 2012, through Johnny Miller.
And without D Malice, we wouldn't have the Reckless project.
You're breaking my guards down. I see you be breaking my guards down. You're breaking my guards down. You're exceptional. I'm susceptible.
Yes, I can feel a shift as vibes drift to the left. Bubblegum flows exposed with no depth. On stage with no breath, steady promoting death and sex and wealth. You need knowledge of yourself. Seamless extremist team with a mean flip. We need more connects like this.
It's been actually a really great experience. He's actually helped me as a producer with like bringing back the whole hip hop and soul vibe, because that's what I used to do. But he's just reignited the passion again, and as we created the new Reckless album.
It's amazing how these things have all just kind of like one thing leads to another. Production has become quite an important thing in my life. I think I have a sound independently as Kid Funk. I think I do a lot of collaborations. So the Reckless project is a 3-year project with D Malice, which is essentially my record collection. This huge amount of knowledge and depth and heart, cutting out samples from that collection and then taking into D and us just working and making sure that we can create these hip-hop landscapes. Then thinking of the right feature to put on. That was a whole different journey. And Reckless is gonna sound different to anything else because D's got this proper way of things sounding like punchy. 3 years. This has been 3 years. I'm so happy it's out. It's a comprehensive album. I've never in my life put together an album that has track 1 and track 2 and has a story. So very proud of this, very proud that I did it with my dude D Malice. Just kind of like something I'm so proud that I can put out into the universe and say I've done. Because I play so much hip hop, I play so much soul, I love the genre. And kind of like my roots are quite deep in it, and it was nice to kind of put out an album that represented that and that alone with D Malice, and that's our name, Reckless.
A game changer creates a name for themselves everywhere they go. Kid Funk, as a tastemaker, has created a club culture that has enabled him to influence the behavior and opinions of others in music.
Yashisa kula malanga phethi imali engakanani hamba nabangani siphithiphithi nabantwana bancanyana siphethe utshwala obungakanani esiphethe inyama engakanani.
Two Sides of the Beat was a platform that I really felt like I needed to create. I was at a point where I was going to give up DJing. I was like, I'm done. I cannot go to clubs and be dictated to what to play and have big butts come up to me, tuning me like, don't you have something I could dance to? Not my world, not why I got into the game. And I was like leaving these gigs and like, I can't do this anymore.
There's been many moments where, you know, he's come home after a gig and things like that, and he's been like, oh, that one didn't go down too well, you know. But what has always amazed me about Alan is he's always like picked himself up and he's always like had his eye on the prize. And he's like, this is what I love, this is what I do, and I'm gonna do it well.
Alan's always been a very passionate DJ. He's always loved music. He's never gone for the kind of commercial side of it. He's never done it for the popularity, for the fame. He's always loved music, and that's what he's done. He's always played the music he wanted to do, or played the music he wanted to play.
Unfortunately, I went to a space that had just opened up in Braamfontein called Kitcheners, and the owner/promoter knew who I was.
We are at my residency in the heart of Braamfontein. It's Kitcheners, Two Sides of the Beat. I've been running my events here for 7 years now. The reason I started this event was that I literally gave up DJing. I kept getting these gigs in the north, I kept getting asked to play nonsense. It broke my spirit, and I found a home, Kitcheners.
And I started getting a couple of gigs there, and it was exactly the space I needed to be in, because I could do what I wanted to do and represent me. I sit as one person who's in here all the time. I very rarely have people telling me that it's changed things or da-da-da-da, but if I look at it, Two Sides of the Beat over the years and the amount of people that I've hosted when they were kind of like at the beginning and where they are now, I do feel like it has been somewhat of a stepping stone for some people's careers. I've just closed Two Sides of the Beat. After 7 years, it was time to move on to something new. I think Two Sides of the Beat is done. It was an amazing experience. We had lots of fun. But yeah, 7 years in. For the voice that I have on radio and what I represent, the people that are really into it are not coming to Braam. So I need to create a space where they will. Most really good events that I've run for as long as Two Sides have will either end badly and have bad things said about them or move on. And I'm not gonna get to the point where it's gonna end badly. We ended on a high. It's been an amazing 7 years, but I'm starting something new.
Beyond measure, Kid Funk has not reached his potential. His plans on expanding his brand are yet to be received. A game changer lives without limits. Kid Funk has spread his wings on national radio to change the perspective of music as a whole.
So good to have Mellow B Jones back. Opening track, Takuru, Slow Grind featuring Mellow B Jones. Got a show for you this evening as usual. We have very special guests, Nuno Esteves and Mig Magnetic. Oh, I'm saying it wrong. Migmatic, Just Move Records from Johannesburg. Loads and loads of exclusives coming to you too. But of course, first thing, let's get to the music.
I did want to be on radio, but I didn't even consciously, I wasn't even aware of it, even though I was so entrenched in listening to radio shows every week, because I'm the type of guy that follows track lists, and I always want to know what's new and what guys are DJing, and most of the guys I follow have radio shows. And there was an opportunity, Josie Maboneng Radio opened up. One of my close friends, Boyza, he started running it. And he was like, do you want a slot? I was like, definitely, I want a slot. I need to understand how this works. And I'd go in there on Saturday, every Saturday, for close to a year and did my show. And I think, we had one person listening, which was probably Boyza next to me. But the fact that I was doing it, and just doing it, obviously kind of helped me with my confidence, my presenting. I had no one teaching me. The world was upside down for me. I'd just been retrenched from Soul Candy. I'd just had my son. We were paying off a bond. I had no other plan past where I was. I mean, if I had been retrenched, which I had been from Soul Candy, there was no plan for me. I didn't want to go sell car insurance. I didn't want to do anything other than music. And I was kind of hanging in there a little bit at Soul Candy. They were giving me 3 days a week, part-time, till I figured out what I was doing, and I got a phone call from Justine at 5. And I knew there was changes at 5. And she hit me up and she was like, what's up? It's Justine from 5. We've got changes on DJs. We really want to speak to you about you hosting. So at first I was like, yo, hectic. I would love to do this. But then I was like, I knew whose slot I was taking over, and I was like, I'm not that guy. I knew the space that these guys are in, and that's not my space. I'm not in that world. Ever so slightly, I'll land up at Spring Fiesta, or I'll land up at a festival where I'm with these guys. Now, we all know each other. I know who these big DJs are. They know who I am. We know what we represent, and we're on 2 different roads, My lane is here, their lane is there, and that's cool. So when 5, one of the biggest, most commercial radio stations in the country, calls you to do something which is so not any of those things, it was surprising.
From the first day I met him, he was playing more lounge, more down-tempo stuff. And now that he's fused his whatever he's playing and fuses with house music, I mean, it's special. You won't find that anywhere else in the world. So he's the one guy that I respect when it comes to music. His knowledge, goes a long way. And yeah, man, I'll always support people like Kid Funk.
So I was like, cool, let's meet. She wanted to meet. We actually met that day. She was she wanted to get things going very soon. And I said to her, and Grant Nash, who met me at the meeting, I was like, guys, I'm very keen to do this, but the only way I'm going to do it is if I do it my way. It has to be my way. I have a very clear vision as to how the music I want to represent and what I want to do. And they were like, cool, that's what we want. And I was like, yo, okay. And I went in, on my first show, I went in hard. I almost pushed it a little bit musically just to see where I could and couldn't go. And we a year and a half in of Selective Styles, and even the first 6 months, I just kept saying to the guys at 5FM, guys, but why? I don't get it. Everything I represent is everything you're not.
Another man I keep up with just because he makes music like this is a man like Scene Munich, all the way from PE, and this is a track off his EP, which is coming out in the next couple of months. So you know what to do, turn it up.
Personally, I didn't know how it was going to fit in, because radio, 5FM is a very kind of commercial, popular music. I didn't see how his music was going to fit in, but he's done it his way. I think he's really changed 5FM and the style of music people listen to.
And they were like, well, there was a reason, because that's exactly what we wanted. And people are tuning off radio and getting into podcasts, and that's exactly what you do well.
Selective Styles is the reason why I contacted Kid Funk. because I heard what kind of music he plays on there, the style of music, the variety of songs that he plays there, and also how original the music that was on there sounded. That is what drove me to actually contacting him and saying, yo, please have a listen to my music. Maybe you could be interested in some of the stuff that I'm doing. So then I decided to send him my music. After that, he started playing my music on the show, which is something that actually changed my life.
I prepare for Selective Styles constantly. It's always in my head. I'm always like, who's gonna be the next artist that I interview? Who's hot right now? Who can I access? What stories can we tell? Radio needs that. Radio needs more than what is top 20 across the world. Radio needs, and not only that, the artists and the music need that. They need a platform where they can be showcased. And it's a forever thing for me. It's like, I listen to my radio show, I prep it and I listen to it in the car like 3 days before I do my radio show, and I move just songs around just because it doesn't flow properly. So by the time I get into the studio on Sunday, I know that my show is dope and that it has a story. And whoever I'm interviewing, that is dope and that it is packaged nicely, and that, like, when you're listening to the show, you know that it's just a great journey. I have been taught by one of the best. His name is Grant Nash. He taught me, in a way, radio etiquette. How do you present? About how you keep people listening. It's about making sure that I do a good job at presenting my show. And he's taught me so much. Before I kicked off on 5, there was almost like this little initiative, or there's a little like thing that we did for a couple of weeks where 5 followed us around and we learned some things, and there was this thing that came up, pre-record.
What's up? I'm here at 5FM. I do my pre-records on a Wednesday, usually 10 a.m. The reason I do pre-records is because it makes my show so tight, and I got the time to make things as good as I can for Selective Styles. Today I got Just Move Records. They're from Johannesburg, deep house record label I've been following for a while. If you're DJing, you're out of town, you can pre-record your show, they'll get a desk driver. And then they were also like, but you could pre-record interviews so that they're packaged nicely and you can just launch them on the night of the show. What's happening? I'm in North London. I had to come and get an interview with First Word Records, and they're having a birthday party, 14 years. Amazing music, DJ Giller, Children of Zeus, Tall Black Guy, Eric Lau, Mark the Clive-Low, the list goes on. They've invited me to come through, they're doing sound checks. We're gonna go chat to them and see what's happening. This is all for my show, Selective Styles Back Home. I'm hoping to get a really good interview. I'm sure they'll do it. Good lads. Let's go. This is Kid Funk, Selective Styles, and I am in the middle of London. I've come to First Word Records' birthday to meet up with a number of artists that we play on the show, but mainly to meet the man behind the record label First Word. And I'm chatting to DJ Giller. Good evening.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for allowing me to come through and see what you guys are up to.
Absolutely, not my pleasure. If you're in town, of course. You know, it's good timing that we've got this big show on tonight and you can come check it out.
I didn't want to do live stuff live in case it was a mess live.
What's up? This is Luna Estevez and Migmatic. We're gonna give you a good mix here on the Selective Style this Sunday.
With good fun.
Let me try.
I wanted to have control, so I wanted to be able to control the environment. And if there were mistakes, we could chop them out, edit it, and put it nicely into a package, and then broadcast that live on Sunday. And I spoke to Grant about it, and he was like, dude, in any good radio practice across the globe, pre-recording is actually a great thing.
So, this is 30 Minutes with Charles Webster, exclusive to Selective Styles. I'm so excited to hear your record. We're definitely going to keep in touch.
Definitely.
And thanks for doing this. And more than anything, thanks for driving me to the airport. This is Kid Funk. This is Charles Webster. You're in the mix, 30 Minutes exclusively on 5FM.
Gives you control, and it makes sure that what you're presenting is as good as it can be. That really helped me understand and push the pre-recording thing further. Because I only do it with live stuff and with interviews, really, because I have time. So during the week I have time. I can get the artists I'm interviewing in a comfortable environment. We can make mistakes. We can make the interview as good as possible. My producer could cut it down, And then I go to 5 on Sunday and I present the whole show, excluding that part. And that part will just be shot off as a piece of audio, but it fits so nicely into it. No one's complaining. It's like, it's a great interview attached to a great mix. Regardless of where it's done or how it's done, I'm putting that package together on the show and it just comes across really well. And I think that I do that because by the time 7 o'clock hits on a Sunday, people are tweeting like, oh dude, can we just have some more? Can we just have another hour? Can we just, which is exactly where I want it to be. I want people wanting more. Because by the time next Sunday comes along, they're tuned in and we've got a new story to tell.
As a game changer, it is important to give others opportunities. By giving artists a platform and staying true to his sound, Kid Funk has created a record label that can only define the music he stands by.
Stay True Sounds is a record label I started with Julian Gomes, which was just after I left Soul Candy. I had it in my blood. I've been label manager at Soul Candy for 3-4 years, and I wanted to represent music that I wanted to represent, and Julian felt the same. We got a very strong bond through, I worked on a couple of his releases with Soul Candy. And when I left, I gave him a call. I was like, cool, let's do it. We got things started.
When we co-founded Stay True Sounds, the mission was to showcase South African music, upcoming producers, and give them the platform to release their music. And I think it's been, the 2 years that it's been around, I think it's had a real big impact on the South African music scene.
What's up, everyone? This is Kid Funk, and we're in Johannesburg at the Stay True Sound studio in Melville. And we thought it would be a good idea to have our new artist, Dave Martian, sit down with us. Yeah, that's him. And talk about the new EP that we're releasing in June called the Umoya EP.
Managed to release some amazing artists. We're 2 years old, but what happened was Julian ended up leaving a couple of months ago, which is, I think, for the best because Julian is like an artist's artist. He struggles to focus on more than what's happening with Julian, which I totally get. And I think it's just everyone's roles in life are very different. And my role is to run a record label and represent artists and push their stuff out. And Julian struggled a bit with that. So he moved on and we're totally cool, it's all good. But Stay True Sound still lives and I do my thing as much as possible. I think when I started Stay True Sounds with Julian, I'd just been retrenched, so I wasn't like flush. I didn't have lots of money, but we were spending money to start a label. So it was tough just trying to have a vision and trying to find loot to fund it. But yeah, I think if you've got the passion, you just make it work. It's not like something you wake up and have like a 9-to-5 job when it comes to an independent record label that you run from home. It's just something that kind of is in your groove and you do as it comes in. So I got a lot of really exciting projects that I'm working on with some really cool artists.
He'll give me a couple of beats to work off of, and he'll entrust me to the writing of that. Then we'll go into studio, record it. He'll do the treatments on that, and then he'll send it back. He's very good at giving constructive criticism and praise where they are due.
The cool thing about being in a business relationship with Stay True is that you get to still explore other avenues in your career while you're getting the help from Alan as a label head, as a DJ, as a radio personality, of course, and as someone who's a game changer.
We're back in Brom. Stay True Sounds, my record label, is doing a collaboration with Puma. So the Puma store is over there, and all my artists, actually 3 of my artists and myself, CO, Melody Jones, FKA Mash, who's playing now, are all there doing their thing. I'm about to jump on the decks for about a 3-hour set. I'm gonna be Melody Jones's DJ. She's amazing, amazing, you gotta see her. And in between my sets, I'm gonna play some big tracks that CO has done. She's gonna sing over them, kind of here and there. So yeah, it's all good. It's Thursday night in Josie. Puma were knocking on my door. They were like, we would love to do an event with you. Now, you can do what you want. It can be Stay True sounds, it can be two sides of the beat, it can be selective style. So I needed to do something that was close to home and meant something to me. Stay True Sounds was that. So I was like, cool, why don't we do something with my label? And they were like, shut, whatever you want to do. And I brought through 3 artists that I really love. Seal, Melody Jones, and FKA Mash. And we just did a Stay True Sounds evening with Puma where it was a databasing thing for them and we got to perform. And I DJ'd for I think 3 hours. It was a smash. It was a great Thursday night. So yeah, hopefully we do more of those moving forward.
You're doing just exactly what the man wants you to do.
The future plans for Stay True Sounds is to do exactly what the name says on the can. To stay true to the music that we represent and stay true to the artists that we represent and push out the best and represent people that are essentially not getting a platform. It's an indie. It doesn't need a lot of money to get things going or to push things out. So we're in a fortunate position. I'm in a fortunate position with Stay True Sounds because we've built a nice little following.
His knowledge is vast, and that makes him so special as a DJ, even as a producer, and somebody who's traveled the world. His connections with the label people overseas, like people like Edges, Johnny Miller, you name them, they love him because I think they saw something in him, something that I personally saw, that, there's something there.
To be a game changer, we have learned that the sooner you realize your passion, the sooner you realize your dream. Once you've helped yourself, you're able to help others either through influence or opportunities. Challenging yourself can help you get to levels you only dreamt of. These are the qualities that made Kid Funk a game changer.
I think there's still highlights coming. Like I don't even feel like I'm done. Like I've got so much I still want to do, but just like having my show on 5 every Sunday for real is a highlight. Being able to DJ the music that I DJ is a highlight. I could have taken many, many, many roads to get where I wanted to get, but I've stuck with the one that I'm on, and that's what I do. I think releasing music is a highlight, There's so many highlights, man, but I think just my life at the moment is a bit of a highlight, being able to do and represent what I do. I've had lots of doubt when it comes to the lane or the lane that I've chosen, because it's not instant gratification. It's not like instant cash. It's not like you can live off this because everyone loves it. It's a very niche market, and I know that's exactly what it is, and I don't want it to change. But being able to feed your family and do what you do from that niche thing has been challenging. For the first time in a very long time, it feels like I'm actually being able to do just that. Just being able to survive off the passion that burns inside me,
We're in Soho. I'm about to hit Soho Radio and chat about the Reckless album with this man over here. And it's 10 o'clock in the evening. I'll be with the Forward to the Floor crew till 12, I think. I'm not sure how this interview's going to go. Anyway, we're here. We do our thing.
Soho Radio.
Johnny's good at this, eh? Johnny's like...
I would love to become global. Although the focus has always been on South Africa, I'd love to become global. When it comes to DJing, when it comes to tastemaking, when it comes to radio show, when it comes to what I know I do well, I would like that to grow. And yeah, these things take time. Dude, I'm 39 and I just feel like I've just kind of hit the surface of being on national radio. I think I got time to make these things happen. I would define a game changer as someone who sticks to their guns, someone that is passionate and unforgiving about what they want to do. And I could truly say I've done that throughout my career, which has led me to this chair.
That's that. Makes me sound like perfect dishes. Leave.